The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right, we are live, Saturday edition, the coffee edition of Saturday brunch edition of No Credentials Required. Messed up already.
It's a coffee edition too.
Yes. But welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your hosts. To my right is the man who laughed in Robert Kraft's face when he was asked to interview for the head coaching job, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today?
I did. I said, Mr. Kraft, I got better things to do, such as waiting in the green room to the show I was listening to Time After Time, a classic by Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
If anyone disagrees with me, I will throw hands with you. And then I followed it up with How Do You Want It by Tupac. That is the beauty of music. I said, Mr. Kraft, I got too much music to listen to, too many games to play. I can't be bothered with this head coaching job. I know you just want Mike Vrabel anyway. So I did laugh at him, and I'm doing well today, sir. I did a very long and winding session of Seahawks sessions last night with Daniel Smooth, and we didn't talk that much about the Seahawks. We talked a little Star Wars. We talked some movies. We talked everything. We did talk the Ryan Grubb firing, and we have some thoughts that I did get into on this show, but go check that out if you feel like it. And other than that, how are you doing today, sir? My keen eye notices that you might have a very nice shirt on today.
I actually do. There it is.
We have shirts, everybody.
Yes, in the description on the pod, and it'll be in the Facebook, YouTube on Belly Up Sports. By the way, welcome to everyone on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. We're also back on our Facebook page and our Twitter page. So thank you for all our viewers for their patience on the podcast side. So it'll be in the podcast description as well. I opened this store years ago, and I keep forgetting to plug it. But I plugged it in our Discord, and you know what? I said, you know what? I'll put it in the description. No credentials required. We do have merch. We do have t-shirts. It's on our Bonfire Star store, which is Bonfire Star. It's our Bonfire Star, which is down here below in the description. Yeehaw! Pew, pew, pew. But you can find the t-shirt with the OG logo. You can find I made a shirt out of a tweet from John Heyman 2 years ago from when Aaron Judge was supposedly signing with the San Francisco Giants, and it said Arson Judge reportedly going to the Giants. So I screenshotted that and made it a t-shirt. So where were you when Arson Judge became a Giant?
Yeah. we got to maybe we can come up with some other ideas for shirts too. Like I was kind of serious, and the problem is I think some of these ideas were just ideas that you and I would think were funny, and then we'd sell 2 shirts because it'd be you and I buying them. But I do want to make one out of 6 comment from last week. Asterisk iconic laugh. Asterisk. I love that for the Ted DiBiase laugh that we were getting into. By the way, Ryan, your impression of Ted DiBiase's laugh, I continue to think about it from last week's show. It still impresses me.
Thank you. All right, we're going to get into everything in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to show topics. We're going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear number 3, because this is episode 3 of 2025. So we're talking about our favorite athletes to wear the number 3. We're talking about hot food takes, which will be a spicy one today, or smooth, or crunchy, depending on how you like it. Foreshadowing. And we're talking about NFL wildcard weekend. But before we do that, just want to remind you about our social media channels, which are right here on screen if you're watching. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, the scarcely used TikTok @NoCredsREQ, and on youtube.com/@NoCardsREQ. And subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And don't forget to get yourself notified on Twitter. I still refuse to call X, and on Facebook and on YouTube. Excuse me. That way, you know when new content is up, when show announcements are up. You get that notification bell. You know that. You know what we're doing. We've been cooking something in the kitchen, and we want to present it to you, like on Master Chef. You know, I just hope that one guy doesn't throw it in the garbage like that one. Forgot about that one.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah. In the meantime, also we're a live show, so hit us up in the comment section. On the podcast side, rate, review, comment. If you're on Spotify, leave us a comment. We'll read it on the air. Rate and review. A 5-star rating will be very, very helpful. Review on places where you can review. This is a live show. Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. And coming up on Tuesday, we're up at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So note that time change. We're going to be on a little bit earlier. We'll be reviewing all the games from Wildcard Weekend on Tuesday, excuse me, starting at 6:30 Eastern. But again, we just want to remind you to leave a comment in the comment section because we're a live show. And I don't know, the little hand, the big hand are trying to tell me something, Dustin.
I do believe that it's chime time.
Yes. All right, we're going to start off with, as advertised, as I mentioned, we're going to start off with we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 3. And as Dustin mentioned, the caveat last week when we started the first episode of the year, we said these are athletes we would have watched, that we would have seen on television or live to ever wear the number 3. So I'm going to take it away. Have you taken it away, Dustin? I mean, Babe Ruth is the default, but again, none of us saw Babe Ruth.
Yeah, we didn't see him play.
We only see him on the highlights. We only hear about him in Tales and Legend. We see him. We see his memorabilia at Cooperstown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we never saw him play. So
his grainy footage and also his ghost in
The Sandlot.
The Sandlot. Yes. Thank you for bailing me out there.
And John Goodman's performance in The Babe.
Yes, The Babe. John Goodman really was the perfect choice for that. But am I picking John Goodman? No, because I don't think he was an athlete. But I don't think anyone who knows me and has been watching the show for any length of time, the number 3, I don't think is going to be any surprise to anybody. I'm doing it. I'm picking Mr. Unlimited, the Schiller himself. Russell Wilson is my favorite athlete to wear number 3. Now, he's a relatively recent addition. I was trying to go back and I'm like, is it really going to be Russ for me? But the more and more I thought about it, he is, especially early in his career with the Seahawks. He was dynamic to watch play. He was very good. I think people forget about it because of that stumble in Denver with all the money that he received and the way he left Seattle with the Mr. Unlimited, giving himself the name, saying let Russ cook, Things kind of fell off a little bit when he started dating Sierra, but if memory serves, and now obviously they're married and everything. This was not like a John and Yoko situation, but his relationship with Seattle, many would argue that's when it started to sour, was around that time. But I think it was also he figured out he could earn a lot of money, and a team gave it to him. He did sign an extension in Seattle, by the way. I remember there were rumors that he was going to go to the Giants. I was afraid. But he was a lot of fun and still is to some degree sometimes. But he doesn't. The thing that I liked about Russell Wilson, not only can he throw an amazing deep ball, I will die on this hill. His deep ball, he still has it. Mm-hmm. But his legs. He was evading sacks. Especially early in his career when he started to and a lot of people give a lot of credit to Russ early on those teams, but it was really the running game and the defense that carried the Seahawks for those first few years. But Russell provided another dynamic. He could throw a deep ball. He always seemed to find Doug Baldwin and Jermaine Kearse at like the most inopportune times. He could evade. Young Russell Wilson reminded people of Fran Tarkenton. Fran Tarkenton is not a athlete that I saw play, but he is a name that you hear about. One of the first really mobile quarterbacks that could get away from things in a time when that didn't really happen. And it was just amazing to watch Russell escape situations where you thought for sure he was going to be sacked, and then he would find receivers. Or there's a particular game that comes to mind for me. Russell Wilson systematically destroyed the Bills one year ago. A year, I can't remember what year it was, but I remember they were wearing those wolf gray uniforms. You don't see the wolf gray uniforms too much anymore, and I'm kind of glad. The wolf gray uniforms, they don't have it, but it was just, he was somebody you had to watch out for. And his numbers, especially for most of his Seahawks career, you could put him up against anybody. And it just seemed like when the Legion of Boom was in their heyday and Russell Wilson was in his prime, you always believe that the Seahawks had a chance to win the game, because sometimes he was up there in fourth quarter comebacks, as far as leading some fourth quarter comebacks. And you just had that special feeling. And I remember, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to take a little shot at the Niners here. But there was a defender when Colin Kaepernick burst onto the scene that first year, and he was running around and everything. A defender from another team said to him, you ain't Russell Wilson, bro." And I always remember that. So, I mean, it's got to be Russ for me. I did a lot of thinking, but it's Dangerous himself. And that's all I've got to say. Ryan, I'm curious to hear who you pick, because I feel like I've been a little chalk going into these first few episodes, but I'm telling you, my number 4, people are going to be angry. They're either going to be angry or perplexed or both, or there's going to be like one person that is like, "Oh man, that's awesome." But I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
This is going to be, I've had a couple of off-brand, I'm going to say off-brand, but on-brand for me.
Yeah.
Athletes. First couple of numbers, I had Sean Burke as number 1. I had Matt Ryan number 2. I'm going to throw back a name from the 90s that I don't think you may not be old enough to remember him.
Okay.
Number 3 for the New Jersey Nets, Drazen Petrovic.
Oh my goodness, Drazen Petrovic.
Yes. That dude, if you ever get to watch the 30 for 30 with Vlade Divac, and how he and Drazen Petrovic were best friends, and they played for the Yugoslavian national team before they all broke apart, and were basically forced to play in different teams. Vlade Divac played for Serbia, and Drazen played for Croatia. And then he was widely considered one of the best players in the world outside of the United States, in Europe, because he was putting up Jordan-like numbers when he was like 18, 19 years old, playing for the professional leagues in Yugoslavia, because he really couldn't go anywhere else back in those days, because communism.
Yeah. And this, it has to be said, not to jump in here, but it has to be said, this was before it was a regular thing for players to come from Europe. He was like one of the trailblazing guys, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yes, he was. He was one of the first European players from that block to play in the United States. And he went to Portland, got drafted by Portland, struggled first couple of years, learning the language, learning the NBA way of playing the game. playing that system with Clyde Drexler, guys like Clyde Drexler. You're playing with a legend like Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter. You're playing with some of those guys. He's trying to adjust. He's trying to get playing time, and he's miserable, absolutely miserable, because he can't show off his talents on the court, which is really sad. Because it wasn't until he was traded to New Jersey that we got to see the real Drazen Petrovic, to see the real magician that he was on the court, making these unbelievable blind passes, shooting threes. I remember him with the elbow guard on the right arm, shooting threes. And I mean, that New Jersey Nets team with him, Herman Douglas, was it Chris Morris, and Derek Coleman. I can't remember who the center was. I think it was Chris Dudley, but he's goofy, but he was still effective. He was tough in the post. Had a goofy looking shot, but those guys, like, and Chuck Daly as your head coach, Bill Fitch, and then later Chuck Daly as their head coach, like, that team should have been able to contend with the likes of the Celtics, the Pistons, the Bulls, and the Eastern Conference back in the early 90s. And unfortunately, Drazen Petrovic lost his life in a car accident in Germany. I think early 90s. Let me do some real time research here, but watching Drazen Petrovic do his thing, wearing the number 3 with the tie-dye ish New Jersey Nets uniforms, like those fadeaway colors.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And back in the 90s were so cool. And then the Brooklyn Nets co-opted them. By the way, move back to New Jersey, you bums. You'd be a better team if you were New Jersey. But I miss that. That's one player I miss. And I think the NBA and the basketball world missed out on because he died so young.
Yeah, that's the sense. And you're right, Ryan. I was obviously old enough to be around. To bring it back to the beginning of the show. Time after time, that song is as old as me. So I was around for Drazen Petrovic and his time in the NBA, but I did not see him play. I was really not following basketball that much at that time. I only heard about. I remember him vaguely from when he was on Portland. But where I really became familiar with him, unfortunately, is the documentary, the 30 for 30, a great 30 for 30.
Once Brothers. That's great documentary. And I love me some Vlad. I mean, who doesn't love Vlade Divac?
Vlade's awesome, man.
I mean, Croatians don't.
Yeah, but Vlade's awesome.
No, but actually it was interesting to see in that documentary that, like, people on the street, like, they recognized him. And they were like, "Yeah, it's Vlade." And it's like nobody really gave a crap whether or not he was Serbian or Croatian. Like, he played for that country once. So it's Vlade. Like, Vlade, we all know and love as the, like, very had that unique personality when he played for the Lakers, when he played for the Hornets, and when he played for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
his career. So
that's where I remember Vlade. Talk about teams that you thought were going to get a championship at one time. That Kings team with Vlade, Mike Bibby, and Peja Stojakovic, like, and Chris Webber. Like, I'm surprised they never got one. I'm surprised they never got one.
Don't forget White Chocolate, Jason Williams.
Oh yeah, you can't forget about him. But they have Robert Ory, Big Shot Bob. That's another reason why. That they don't have one.
And a fun fact about Vlade Divac, you know how he learned English? How? Watching cartoons.
Oh man.
He's like, yes, the Flintstones were my favorite. Yabba dabba do. But yeah, I mean, if Drazen Petrovic were in today's NBA, he would break every shooting record, every 3-point shooting record. Yeah. And it was so sad to see that he lost. He passed away so soon. Yeah, he was only 28 years old when he passed away, and he got a postdoc, a nomination to he was inducted to the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame in 2002.
Posthumously,
yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Posthumously. So yeah, I mean, Drazen Petrovic was if I could order a jersey today, I would get the only one I would get a basketball jersey. Two jerseys. Michael Jordan, Bulls, obviously, or actually USA Basketball, the way you wore number 9.
Oh, nice.
USA Basketball team in the 1992 and 1984 as well. But I'll also get Drazen Petrovic, New Jersey Nets. That's right. I said it right. New Jersey Nets, number 3. with the blue color, because those uniforms were awesome back in the day. But it sucks that we lost him so soon. But he was my favorite player, my favorite athlete to wear the number 3 that I got to see on the television and watch and be amazed by him. So
yeah, and I know if I don't do this, people are gonna be like, "What?" But as Ryan said, this list is a personal list to us. So there's going to be people that we missed. There's going to be people that we didn't see play, so they don't fit the criteria for our list. But I do have to shout out, because the reason I put so much thought into Russell versus another person is because my runner-up was the answer. Number 3, Allen Iverson.
Yep.
Got to mention the answer. I mean, he was a pleasure to watch play and kind of ushered in a new era in the NBA stylistically. And he always, whether you liked him or disliked him, you could never question that he was going to give it his all on the basketball court, run around. So
true. And speaking of Wilson, it's Kevin Wilson from Belly Up Fantasy Sports and from the Seahawks sessions. Says Russell Wilson was the best I've ever seen get himself out of danger.
Yeah, I mean,
very elusive. Yeah, elusive in the pocket.
He was, and I think maybe some of the injuries, but he just doesn't use his legs the way that he used to, and I think it's partially because he can't anymore, but also I think he wanted to prove he was a pocket passer, because that's the thing that a lot of more mobile QBs get caught up in sometimes. But he was running around, and also he was a short king, so I always tip my hat to the short kings there.
He was a short king, but he could dunk. Like, he was an amazing athlete. And he also says Russ was also allowed me to wear a jersey with my own name on it. For that, he gets extra points. There you go.
Good point, Kevin.
Good point, Kevin. Very good point. All right. Just I'm surprised you didn't get a Zach Wilson New York Jets jersey. Anyway. But we're going to transition into a Saturday favorite something that's become a Saturday favorite for both Dustin and I, and I'm pretty sure you all as well. Hot food takes.
There we go. It's the bouncing burger.
The bouncing burger.
Gotta love it.
That's unnatural.
I know. Especially that top bun. It gets some serious hang time.
I'm not sure. I don't know about the bun, but about the burger itself. I don't know what kind of meat is in there.
Yeah.
Blubber. It's whale.
Oh man.
All right, we're gonna talk about peanut butter. It's a fatal 4-way today, my friends. Cred heads. Fatal 4-way between Skippy, Peter Pan, Jif, and store brand peanut butter. Let's get it on, Dustin.
All right, Mills.
Peanut butter. Who's coming up on top in the peanut butter fatal 4-way?
All right, man. Mills Lane himself here just told me let's get it on, so I'm going to get it started. Number 4, and it's a distant number 4. The store brand peanut butter. I don't mess with it. I don't store brand stuff. I am not a snob. Okay, I'm not a snob. I will get store brand stuff. Doesn't bother me. But there's certain things like, no, I just want this. Like with my guitars, as you can see, a couple behind me. I am a snob about my electric guitars. I like the way Fender makes them. I like the way they feel in my hand. So, and I like the weight too. I love a Les Paul, the way it looks, the way it sounds. But if I pick it up to play it, it's too heavy. It feels too bulky. But before I get into a guitar aside, peanut butter is something where I am a brand man. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so store brand is a distant number 4. I haven't tried it enough to even have thoughts on it. So that's number 4. Number 3 for me, this would be a peanut butter that I get out of desperation. Okay. Skippy is of the options that we came up with and presented each other. Skippy is my number 3. It's peanut butter. It's decent peanut butter, but I would take these 2 other brands over them all day. And I think for you and me and everybody out there and the aforementioned Kevin Wilson, who was the inspiration behind this segment. So
True,
I will take every opportunity. Thank you, Kevin. I've thanked you on Seahawks sessions for it. I've thanked you on this show for it. I will continue because you've given us lots of mileage out of this.
Yes.
So
Some might say too much, but we're just getting started.
yeah. Ryan and I had a nice text exchange. We got some topics now in the hopper.
We got rolling.
Yeah. So Jif, okay. Jif comes in at number 2, ahead of Skippy for me. I just recently used Jif because I was out of my preferred peanut butter option, which you will see. I had to go to the local Stewart's. I was making a snack for New Year's, the chocolate chip peanut butter oatmeal honey balls that I brought. The peanut butter in there was Jif. Jif gets the nod, number 2. I've recently sampled it. It's good. And you can't deny Jif has one of the best lines. Choosy moms choose Jif. Like, that's a genius marketing campaign. Okay. I don't agree. I don't think Jif is at my top, but it comes in at number 2 for me. Number 1 with a bullet. It's the red wrap around the jar with the yellow text, Peter Pan. Peter Pan is my number 1, and I think it's because that's what my mother bought growing up. So that's what I came to know and love. That was peanut butter to me. Mom didn't get Jif. Mom didn't get Skippy. And Mom did not get the store brand. I don't know how Mom, maybe Peter Pan was what she grew up with. I never got the chance to ask her about it. Maybe, maybe it was just she tried it one day and liked it, but that was the peanut butter she always got for us. So that's what I know. That's what I love. It's like opening a jar of my childhood. I don't even think about grabbing another peanut butter. It's Peter Pan, number 1 all the time for me. And with that, Ryan, as I often say, I cede the floor to you because you're polite and you let me go first a lot of times, and then I ramble.
That's okay. Yeah, I can think of when I was a kid, the Peter Pan song for the Peter Pan peanut butter. Peter Pan, peanut butter. All right. I'm ranking them. Here we go. Fatal 4-way. Here we go. The first loser, number 4, is Jif.
Oh, all right. Jif is at the bottom.
Jif is at the bottom because every time I taste it, somebody makes something with Jif peanut butter. I can taste the sugar like right away. It just hits you right in the front of the palate. It's like sugar.
Oh, see, I'm curious to see if the honey was enough to mask it for you in those peanut butter balls. But I don't know. I don't know.
Your Uncle Al did say the oatmeal balls were awesome.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't sure. Were. I think I just made too many of them.
So Jif is at the bottom. Number 3. And this harkens back to my teenage days when we didn't have a whole lot because all 4 of it my parents. God bless my parents. And God bless my mom, especially having to shop. I think every week for food because she had 4 teenagers in the house plus their friends. Their friends would stop by.
Yep,
had more food than she'd have more food than like a relief effort.
What was your grocery shopping night? I'm curious. What was hers?
Thursdays.
Okay, my mom was Wednesdays, so they're both kind of on the same wavelength there.
Yeah, and I used to work at Price Chopper, so like the busiest days would always be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Those are the 3 busiest days because Thursdays and Fridays, those are usually paydays.
Yeah.
So that's when my mom would usually go. Shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom. And, I guess Dad too.
Shout out to both your parents. You know, always supporting me, and they were generous enough to donate to my Extra Life stream, which I enjoyed very much. And your dad usually, if I actually make a rare post on Facebook, your dad, he's one of the ones, he'll comment on it.
Oh yeah, he's a boomer. He's always looking at it. So number 3, store-bought brand. And you know which peanut butter is actually pretty good? Which store brand is actually pretty good? Price Choppers is actually
Oh,
pretty
really?
good.
Okay.
Their
Okay.
jelly sucks though. My brother
Oh,
used to call it
man.
yucky. My brother Jim used to call it yucky yelly. He's like, Mom, get the Welch's. This grape jelly sucks. It's yucky yelly. Number three, and then number two, Peter Pan. Number two is Peter Pan.
Okay. Okay. I'll take it.
But number one, on my list with a bullet, always Skippy peanut butter.
All right. Maybe I got to retry Skippy. Maybe I got to retry it.
Yeah, we talked about peanut butter in one of our summer episodes when we were watching off season New York Giants, the Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants, and how Joe Shane would bring a peanut butter sandwich with him to work every day, or he'd cheat with the Uncrustables. I'm like, that's just cheating. That's just cheating.
Yeah, but and I hate to admit this on the show. I'm gonna miss the football season. Obviously, I love getting in and chopping it up about football with you every week. Like the brunch shows, especially. I look forward to it every Saturday. I look forward to every Tuesday, and I'm so happy that we're doing this together. But in a weird way, the summer might be my favorite time of the show because we have to come up with some stuff. We have to
make an effort.
Yes, and the list always gets me, and of course, no credentials, no ticket required. So please join us over the summer because we got stuff going. Just because the season's over, NCR is going to go right through.
Yeah. We'll talk about baseball. We'll talk about hockey. Although I do want to say, if you're jonesing for some football, Dustin, Albany Firebirds home kickoff, their home opener, March 21st.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Taking on the Southwest Kansas Storm.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll have to bring back our boys, Levac and Gaz.
For sure.
Speaking of which, I was on Levac and Gaz yesterday. Levac's currently on a cruise in the middle of the ocean somewhere for the first time ever, and for one, I guess he has a friend who's got a friend who's having her 50th birthday, and she decided, hey, I want to take a cruise. So she invited a bunch of people, and he went on a cruise. So
nice.
I filled in. Yeah, so I recorded a segment yesterday with Gaz, and we're going to record another segment next week. So it'll be on the airwaves here in Albany on Fox Sports 980. So I'll put out the alert when people can listen and which hour it'll be on. So
I got to catch up too.
Ahead.
I got to catch up too because you and Gaz recently did a New Year themed episodes, right? And those are in our audio feeds. I downloaded them. I haven't listened yet. I got
audio. Yep, that's the end of the year podcast where we talk about the top 5 national and local sports stories during the year. It's a yearly tradition. A tradition. Some might say a tradition unlike any other. Shout out Jim Nance. But those are audio only episodes. They're in our feed for no credentials required. By the way, thank you for everyone who has continued to support the show into the new year. Our numbers are still really good. So we have a goal of 3,000 downloads for this year. So we broke 2,500 last year. We didn't really set a goal, but this year we want to get 3,000, maybe more. But right now we're well on our way to that goal, and hopefully we'll achieve it and keep moving forward from there. Comment section before we take our network mandated commercial break. Take a quick trip to the comment section. Kevin Wilson saying crunchy is the only way to go, and crunchy is the only way to go. And I'm not sure what comment he meant by this. Is whoever says that, shut it.
Yeah. I'm
not sure what he meant. Which comment he meant. What he meant of something. So what he's talking about. But your Uncle Al King is coming in saying, "Begun the peanut butter wars have."
We're clipping that. Also in the comments, let us know your peanut butter. Rank. Uncle Al, I'm curious, which is your favorite peanut butter? I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
And Kevin Wilson saying, I'm not sure if I've tried Peter Pan peanut butter. I have to get on that.
All right. Hey, Kevin, do you have any brands that are like in Texas that are like regional that you're like, oh, this is the peanut butter? I don't know.
So I did some real time research while you were vamping about Peter Pan, and I looked to see which peanut butter has been around the longest. Take a guess as to which peanut butter brand has been around the longest, Dustin.
Oh man, I have no idea here. I have no idea. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say Skippy. Skippy has been the longest.
Actually, Skippy's been around the second longest of the four.
Okay.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan was number one.
Peter
See, I
Pan
just
was
figured I'm like, there's no way it's Peter Pan. I don't know why I discounted it, but
Peter Pan was introduced in 1928.
wow.
Skippy was introduced in 1932.
Okay, all right. So when was Jif?
1956.
Okay, so Jif's like the baby on the block, but they
Yeah.
they threw a ton into marketing. I will
Yeah.
say that. They threw their slogan is unbeatable. Like it's
Oh,
pretty good.
so Kevin was clarifying. Anyone who says you go too far in these segments, he says to shut it. So yes, and
Oh,
I will add to that. Get your own show if you don't like it. And your Uncle Al says, "Curveball. I'm a peanut butter snob. I get the natural stuff that you have to stir.
Oh, yeah.
Ingredient list is just peanuts and salt. Skippy, Jip, and Peter Pan can't claim that. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the natural peanut butter, we have a jar in our house. I think we've eaten it like twice, and it's just sitting in the lazy Susan in
Yeah.
the cupboard.
No,
You can't refrigerate it because you won't be able to stir it around because of the natural oils in there.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right, we're gonna take our mandated commercial break. Network mandated commercial break. When we come back, we're talking about NFL Wild Card Weekend. It's no longer called Super Wild Card Weekend. Why did they take away the Super? Anyway.
I don't know.
Back after this. Stand by and stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. Thank you, handsome voiceover man. Invader Coffee. The only coffee that's going in this mug on Saturday mornings. Well, most Saturday mornings, if I remember to order it. But I've got two blends going right now. I've got the cookie crumble. I got the tiramisu. I just checked to see if they have any more Bad Santa. I can't seem to find it, which makes me very sad. But their Valentine's blend is currently out. Chocolate Lust. And here's what it says as the description. We're dropping our Valentine's Day limited edition creamy Bavarian dark chocolate flavored roast with hints of pecan, or pecan, if you will, and coconut to prep you for the sappy festivities. Whether you're ready to mingle or have a dedicated ball and chain, this is the perfect blend to get you to see red and pink everywhere. We made only a small batch, and by small, we mean TINY. If you sleep on this drop, you may not get another chance to sell it. To get it, don't say we didn't warn you. Grab it now because once it sells out, it's gone. And remember, hearts break, chocolate melts, but coffee is always there. Oh. So yes, they do have they have a 12-ounce ground bag of Chocolate Lust now available on our link in the description below, so you can help support the show by buying some coffee from Invader Coffee. But it's not just the Chocolate Lust blend. You could also find their OG blend, the Luckby Irish Whiskey blend, the Black Heart blend, which is the espresso blend. That's always very good.
I got to try that one.
Yeah, tiramisu is still available. Jolly Java is still available, and Don't Calumet, Texas, as well as Break in Case of Emergency. Those are two of my favorites. They're also available for your consumption, and they've got cold brew, so you got individual cans, or you can buy a 12-pack of cold brew. It's an awesome coffee, and again, we don't allow sponsors on the show unless we've tried them out first. And I got a chance to try them out before I brought them on as a show sponsor. Awesome coffee. You won't regret it. And a little bit, you pay a little bit more for the shipping, But there's a reason why, because it's so good. You want to pay a little bit more to support this veteran-owned. That's right, veteran-owned. Do you love your country? Of course you do. Do you love the veterans? Of course you do. You want to support this veteran-owned business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And did I ever tell you, Ryan, my story about, and it has to do loosely with the chocolate lust coffee.
No.
And it is, I've never had it. And I think I'm going to, based on the description, I think I'm going to order it up this year for Valentine's Day. But the customer service at Invader is unmatched. And I will say, I have never had a problem with my order except for one time. I ordered Donut Dealer Blend and something happened. I can't remember what happened, but it wasn't arriving as quick as it normally did. So I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm waiting on one of my blends. Did something happen to the package? And then they responded immediately. They said, yes, something like that. And they said it shows as it shows as it already went out. So they said you might want to check with the post office. So I did. I checked with the post office, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got that, but you have to come pick it up." So I said, "Okay." And I took my lunch break, and I went down to the post office, and I said, "Hi, I'm," and I gave my name, and I said, "I'm here to pick up a package." They said, "Oh yeah, we got it for you." And it was a lovely woman, a postal employee who grabbed the package for me. And she came back, and all over the packaging, it just was all black with the hearts, and it said chocolate lust. And and she kind of gave me a weird look as she handed me the package, and I'm like, smell it, it's coffee. It's coffee.
I swear it's coffee.
Yeah. But I gotta try, try that blend there. Try any blend of Invader. You won't be disappointed.
No, you won't.
I guarantee it.
We both guarantee it because it gets the no crunch. Oh, dang it! I forgot puppers too. It gets the no. If I had puppers element, I would show you the seal of approval for no crunches required. But yes, Invader Coffee, you guys get the no crunches required seal of approval. I won't make the sound. I'm sorry. Fooled me once, fooled me twice. It's on me.
I won't get fooled again.
I won't be again. Before we get to NFL wildcard weekend, your Uncle Al says NFL playoffs are what gets me through the dead of winter. Can't wait for later today. And he says Hill Country Fair crunchy peanut butter is excellent in Texas.
Yeah, and I would like to apologize to both you and Uncle Al because in years past I've always hosted something on Wild Card Weekend, and I've always had you two and my buddy, our buddy Scott over. Family stuff has caused things got away from me a little bit, but I'd like to have you guys over for at least the divisional games or something. So I'll send out a group text. I'll get it going. But I know Wild Card Weekend, I kind of dropped the ball this year. So apologies for that.
Nah, that's all right. Family stuff, family comes first, my friend. So we'll reconvene another time. But in the meantime, let's talk about Wild Card Weekend. Let's talk about some of these games. And the first game we're going to start off with. And these times below are all Eastern time because it's God's time. Eastern time, Chargers. The first game is Saturday game. Chargers at Texans. It's on CBS, Paramount Plus, and Nickelodeon's the Slime Time game. So 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to offer a few minutes of thoughts on these games before we wrap up the show. But we're going to talk about the Saturday game. Dustin, what thoughts stick in your mind about this particular game?
Okay, this one's kind of a weird one for me. And, I'll keep it brief, which I know some would argue is impossible for me, and they might be right.
Setting a timer right now.
But this game, I just can't get a sense on it. I can't get a sense. This is the hardest one where I look at it and I'm like, man, I don't really have like a huge feel for this game. Mm-hmm. There is a part of me that wants to pick the Texans because I still believe CJ Stroud has regressed a little bit this year, but I still believe in him. D'Amico Ryans is a great coach, but their defense hasn't played up to the level. Their injuries on offense, I think, are too much to overcome. I think I'm going with the Chargers in this one. Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh seem like a perfect marriage. Jim Harbaugh, like, really has done wonders for Justin Herbert's confidence. This is going to rely on the health of Justin Herbert because he's been playing hurt for a little bit this season. And the Chargers defense has improved under Harbaugh. He has turned them around a little bit. They're not a great defensive unit yet, but people forget they do have some talent. They have Derwin James. They have Joey Bosa. You know, they do have some talent. So the Chargers defense is not devoid of talent. And also J.K. Dobbins will be in for this game, will he not, Ryan? I believe he has returned, J.K. Dobbins.
Let's take a look.
He's had a great season, and the Texans have just been on a slide. I really believe if the Texans were in any other division than the division that they were in, they would not be in the playoffs with the way that they've played. It's like I said, they've had a lot of injuries and stuff, and I think it's just going to be too much to overcome. I'm picking the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, I might regret it, but yeah, Chargers for me. Just because, and I'm looking at the report for the injury report for the Chargers. Gus Edwards J.K. Dobbins is questionable.
Okay,
Gus Edwards was a full participant in practice on Thursday, so it looks like he's going to be playing in this game. And don't forget, the Chargers did sign Ezekiel Elliott to their practice squad earlier this week for depth purposes. I don't know if he's going to get in this game, but if he does get in this game, it'll be a goal line. It'll be a goal line. It'll be 5 yards or less. Goal line situation only, because he knows how to get. He's got a nose for the end zone.
He does. Whether you love him or hate him, and there's no argument, he has lost a step from where he used to be, but he still knows how to get into the end zone. And I still respect him that year that he played on the Patriots, and they weren't going anywhere, and he said, continue to use me. I want to run. He basically was like, I know we have nothing to play for, but don't rest me. I want to play. I want to run, so I respect him for that.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just going to sit in the bench. I don't want to be in the bench. I just want to be somewhere else. And to their credit, Dallas Cowboys said, yeah, we'll grant you your wish. And now he finds himself in a playoff team. So, good for him, I guess. The one injury I have, Josh Palmer is out. He's got a foot injury. He did not practice all week, so he's out, which made the way for Quentin Johnston, who helped me win my fantasy league.
There you
last
go.
Week.
There you go. Shouts out
on a waiver wire pick. On a free agent pickup. I'm like, all right, I need to load up for my fantasy football championship. So I dropped Roma Dunze, who's done absolutely nothing for the last 3 months. Yeah, I was like, you know what? Pick up Quentin Johnston. Let's see what he does. And he went off for like 170 plus yards. Didn't have a touchdown, but he still played a factor in the Chargers winning the number 6 seed in the playoff bid in the playoffs. But a lot of names on this list that are very familiar. Denzel Perryman, he was full practice but questionable. Trey Pipkins, he was limited practice. He's questionable. Rashawn Slater was full practice, so he'll be playing today. For Houston, the one thing that sticks out is Shaq Mason. He's out. He's gone. Oh. He's done for this game, and it's gonna be trouble for the offensive line because he was one of their better offensive linemen during the season. So,
and with
it's gonna be interesting to see.
With the injuries at wide receiver, they will have to rely on Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon has to have a big game to keep the Texans offense balanced, but I think it's going to be tough sledding for the Texans.
Yeah. So that's the 4:30 game. And we got new credhead Spencer chiming in. Boom.
What's up, Spencer?
What's up, Spencer? So we're going to move on to the Saturday night game, which is the NFL giving another throbbing middle finger to its fans by having this game, airing this game on Amazon Prime. Last year was on Peacock only for the Chiefs-Dolphins game. That was in sub-zero weather. This year, the NFL continues to do the same thing with a giant throbbing middle finger to anyone who wants to watch on Saturday by having the Steelers at Ravens. One of the biggest rivalries in the NFL.
Yeah.
You put it on Prime. Anywho, Steelers Ravens Saturday 8 p.m. game. I'm looking at the injury report for both teams. Zay Flowers is actually going to be out for this game. He has a knee injury.
Ooh.
He's not playing. Kyle Hamilton, he's playing. Deontay Hardy, he is questionable, and Justice Hill will be back in the lineup. On the other side of the ball, not many notable names on this list for an injury report for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cole Holcomb, he's out. Logan Lee, he's out. Robin Wilson is out. He's a wide receiver. But a couple of depth pieces going to be missing for the Steelers with Cole Holcomb and Logan Lee. Even though they were full practice all week, none of them will be playing in this game. But I jokingly call this game the Chalk Line Bowl because just based on their history, just based on their entire history, especially with Ray Lewis smacking guys across, like don't even dare cross the middle when it comes to Mr. Lewis. But it's just this is always a hard hitting game. The last game was not exactly the hard hitting game we expected because the Ravens absolutely boat raced the Steelers.
Yeah.
Doubled them up basically 34-17, and that was part of the Steelers 4-game slide that ended the season. And it's just a rematch of what happened 3 weeks ago. Now with Zay Flowers out, that might change things a little bit, but I don't think it really does.
No.
With having Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in your backfield. I mean, Derrick Henry, I think he finished second in rushing in the NFL this year.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So he's still proving he's got the stuff to literally drag your team kicking and screaming into the playoffs.
Yep.
But the one concern, I mean, it's a concern, but the Steelers offense has to start. They have to start early. They have to get a quick score. They have to get quick scores, multiple quick scores. They have to score on their first 2 drives, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown or both. You have to end your first drives on points because that will give you the momentum for your defense to play with the lead. You can't fall behind, especially against this Ravens offense, who has been known to be explosive, to throw the ball around. Lamar Jackson's still got capable targets. He's still got Mark Andrews.
Yes.
He's still got Isaiah Likely.
Yep.
He's still got guys around him who can catch the ball. So for me, it's the Steelers. You gotta get out to a quick start. Gotta score multiple times on your first drives, your first couple drives, because that way your defense has some momentum to play with. Otherwise, they're gonna be in the field forever.
Yeah, and I do. It's ironic that the very person who I praised at the beginning of the show as my favorite athlete to wear number 3, he's starting in this game, but he's not prime Russ Wilson. I think even the biggest Russell Wilson fan would admit that. And he's kind of been on a slide. I picked him as my biggest disappointment last on Tuesday's show for a reason, because he laid an egg. He can't do that against this Ravens team because this Ravens team will just go off on you. They have so many ways. Lamar Jackson himself has so many ways to hurt you that I agree with you, Ryan. You can't have that Steelers defense tired out and on the field forever as Derrick Henry grinds out drives and they try to contain Lamar Jackson, or it's going to be a long day. Russ has to play much better in this game. He's got to figure out a way. And the Ravens are going to be able to get some pressure on him, probably get some sacks. Russ is going to have to turn back the clock and kind of remember what he did in Seattle earlier in his career. Use those legs and buy time and try to make plays deep down the field, because they do have, if George Pickens can find a way, not my favorite player because I think he talks too much and he says a lot, but if he can find a way to get behind the defense a few times and kind of revitalize this Steelers offense, but I have a hard time seeing the Steelers emerge victorious in this game. I think it's Ravens all day.
Yeah, and these are just our predictions. We don't know what's going to happen. If we're wrong, we'll happily eat our words on Tuesday night. We'll just say that. On to the Sunday games. First Sunday game, Denver travels to Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills. The Sunday 1:00 game. Dustin, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, my thoughts is the Broncos could, if their defense plays the way that they're capable of playing, the Broncos could keep this game close. But ultimately, I think because of the Broncos' kind of lack of a rushing attack, they've used a three-headed monster, Javonte Williams, and is it Zacchaeus? I'm trying to think. No, Zacchaeus is on. Yeah, their names are escaping me right now, but they've used a three-headed monster often as Sean Payton does. But I just don't think the Broncos have the weapons offensively to keep up with the Bills and Josh Allen. If the Broncos have a shot at winning this game, their defense is going to have to play a great game. They're going to have to shut Josh Allen down because Josh Allen, the Bills don't have as much talent around Josh Allen offensively as they have had in previous seasons. So if the Broncos defense can find a way to contain Josh Allen, stop him from rushing the ball when he needs to, stop him from extending plays, and most importantly, don't let him get the ball downfield because Josh Allen has a cannon for an arm. We all know it. The Broncos, that's how they win this game, I think. But ultimately, I think this is where the Cinderella run stops for Sean Payton and his Ferris Bueller, as he called him earlier this year at quarterback. I think the Broncos season, hats off to them for getting into the playoffs. But my first instinct is that the Broncos season ends here because I know Mac Hollins is going to find a way to get like a freaky touchdown. I think James Cook will be able to run the ball, and I think the Bills have enough on defense to stop the Broncos and at least contain them a little bit. So I've got the Bills winning this one.
So the three-headed monster you were thinking of were Jaleel McLaughlin,
That's right,
Audric
McLaughlin.
Estime, and Javonte Williams.
Yeah. I couldn't think of Audric Estime. I knew it was a unique name, and I went to Zacchaeus, but I was like, wait, that's not right. He's in Washington, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yep, you're right. No, I have the same kind of type of feeling about this game. The Bronco, I think this game's going to be closer than what most people think. We didn't really get into it yesterday with Gaz and I. Gaz and I really didn't get into it because we were talking about the water boy. So we got kind of
sweet
because we were like, is Sean Payton gonna do a Coach Klein and inspire his players by showing his butt with a tattoo of Elvis? Well, Mama don't know. Can't hurt her. But I wonder, are we going to see the Sean Payton who's been kind of the maverick, the gambler this year, or are we going to see the Sean Payton who is depicted by Kevin James in that Netflix movie about the headhunting scandal, the Bonnie hunting scandal?
Oh man, I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either, but I want to now. I think I might have to re-up my Netflix subscription just to watch those. But that and the Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, because we got to get 10 good minutes going. But as I've mentioned before, if we can find a night, you're welcome to come down here. We'll have some beers and maybe do a couple episodes at a time.
I'll have to bring sodas because I'm doing dry January.
Right now, you're doing dry January. Yeah, all right. Props to you. I've already failed that.
Well, I started dry January on Monday, so
okay.
I was a little behind. But
all right.
I think this game is going to be a lot more competitive than what people think. Okay, Bills are a 2 seed. They've been motorboating opponents or boat racing opponents for the last month and a half. Yeah, motorboating, race boating, something like that. This coffee's not strong enough. But the Bills have been the Bills all year. Yeah, they've been the Bills all year. The Broncos, I didn't say they snuck into the playoffs, but they got in by the skin of their teeth because they had a little bit of a slide going towards the end of the season, which had the Bengals. By the way, have you heard about the Bengals? Someone in the Bengals accused the Chiefs of tanking their game on Sunday.
Oh yeah, because they were saying they didn't want to face them in the playoffs or something. I think I heard something about that. Yeah, okay. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever. All right, go support your Buckeyes. By the way, the college football championship, the college football playoff championship is going to be between the teams I hate the most in college football, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Ugh.
Oh,
I hope both teams lose.
I'm sorry, but
Anyway.
shout out to my friend and former drummer in my band from back in the day. Shout out Jay Allen. He's been an Irish fan for as long as I've known him. I know he's been waiting a long time for this. He's excited. So shout out to you, Jay, if you're watching and or listening.
Yeah, good for him. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. This game, yeah, it's gonna be closer. I think it's gonna be closer than what people think it's gonna be. Basically, because he sees 2 seed, he sees 7 seed. It's like, oh, this could be, this gonna be a blowout. No, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Because remember, back in the '90s, we had that Bills team that was damn near unstoppable. I think it was 1997. Was it the 1997 playoffs? I want to say.
Trying to remember.
Was it
That's about a year before I started watching regularly. So
it was the playoffs where the Jaguars traveled to Buffalo and beat Buffalo. And then they beat
Mark
Denver
Brunell,
the next
right?
week. It was Mark Brunell at quarterback, and they had Fred Taylor. They had Smith. I forgot his first name.
Jimmy Smith.
Jimmy Smith, yes, as their wide receiver. Then they went to Denver, and they upset Denver. So maybe it was 1996. I think
it was 96 because that was the year the Jags were an expansion team. They made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. I always loved Fred Taylor. I don't know why, but
underrated.
I loved him. Yeah,
Fred Taylor, underrated running back, man, from that era. But yeah, they beat Buffalo in Buffalo, then they beat Denver, and they went up in the AFC Championship playing the Patriots, and they lost that game. So this kind of, I think, to me, this has that kind of feel. It has that kind of feel because the Bills can be exposed.
Yeah,
and there's been times where they've been exposed this year. So I granted it's going to be in Orchard Park. Remember, Orchard Park, not Buffalo. See, I can play that snobbery game too with the locations. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a more entertaining game than what people think it's going to be. But looking at the injury report, and there's really nothing that sticks out to me. Nothing that really sticks out to me. I mean, the Bills have a long list of guys who have injuries, but they're all participating in practice and they'll be playing.
Yeah.
So, and that includes Matt Milano coming back from a biceps injury. He'll be in the game. He'll be in the game on Sunday. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the Packers and Eagles Sunday at 4:30. It's a Sunday 4:30 matchup. God said it yesterday that he was hoping that he says, I'm beginning to hate the Eagles. I'm beginning to hate the Eagles, and I hope they lose, and I hope they go 4-13 next year.
Oh man, refresh my memory though. Refresh my memory. What team is Gaz a fan of? I can't.
He's a Buccaneers fan.
Okay, because I knew Levesque's a Raiders guy, right?
Leveque is a Raiders guy.
Yeah. I couldn't remember Gaz's team there.
Yeah, Buccaneers. He's in teams that all wear orange. So he's an Orioles fan. He's a Buccaneers fan because they wore those Sherbert uniforms back in the day.
Yeah.
Basketball team is a Knicks fan. He doesn't really have a hockey team. He doesn't really pay attention to hockey. Although back a couple of years ago, he got into the Avalanche because one of his sisters married somebody in Colorado, and then he got into the Avalanche. I'm like, that's odd. I'm surprised he didn't pick the Ducks or the Flyers. So
he almost had he has a weirder mix of teams than me, almost. You know.
Well, don't forget he's from Syracuse, so he grew up a Syracuse Orange fan. So
yeah.
All right, Packers Eagles Sunday 4:30 p.m. We talked about this game, the Packers on Tuesday about Jordan Love's eligibility or status, excuse me. Talked about Malik Willis's status. They're both playing in this game. According to the injury report.
Okay.
It's from from PhiladelphiaEagles.com. Has both teams participation. Again, no real notable injuries to speak of. So it looks like everybody who's making an impact is going to play in this game. So for me, it's a question of rest versus rust for the Eagles, especially since Jalen Hurts has been out for a couple of weeks. He had concussion in week 17. Didn't play. No, sorry. Week 16. Didn't play in week 17 or week 18. Not that it mattered because they still won those games. And Saquon Barkley did not play in week 18. So it's going to be a matter of rest. And a lot of the starters haven't played the last couple of weeks because it really hasn't been.
Yeah.
They haven't played any consequential games. They wrapped up the division, and they figured, all right, we're just going to rest our guys and see what's going, and just assess. And we'll see in the play. We'll see in round 1. We'll see in the wild card. But they're playing a Packers team who has a really good defense. And even though Christian Watson's going to miss this game because he tore his ACL on Sunday, that's one guy. That's one player they're going to miss a lot. Jordan Love he still has Josh Jacobs in his backfield. He still has the ability to get the ball to other receivers like Romeo Doubs. This is going to be a close game too. It's going to be in a hostile environment at the Link. But to me, I think the Eagles win this game. It'll be a close game, but I think the Eagles win this game just based on the talent they have on offense. And their defense is underrated too. We don't talk about the defense of the Eagles a whole lot because because of what their offense is doing.
Yeah,
but their defense is pretty good too.
Yeah, this game, I feel similarly to how you feel about the Broncos-Bills game, and also similarly to how you feel about this one. The Packers are going to be able, I think, to keep this closer than a lot of people realize, especially with, obviously, it helps humongously that Jordan Love is in there, and Malik Willis, by the way, because who knows, maybe they bring him in for a couple of gadgets. I mean, they're going to empty the playbook. This is their time to do it. But what I'm most looking forward to in this game is to watch Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs go head-to-head. Both have had unbelievable seasons running the ball, and I am old school a little bit in the fact that I love a good passing shootout as much as anybody, but when running backs are going off, I love to watch that. I love to watch it. It brings me back. I mean, different era, different time, and different factors, obviously. But I loved watching Sean Alexander just shred teams back in the day, and it was largely because of that great Seahawks offensive line they had with Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson, and also Max Strong, one of the greatest fullback names ever, leading the way. But I just think that the Eagles are going to be slightly too much for the Packers on this one. The Packers are going to be able to throw some punches, but the Eagles have too many things that can deliver a knockout blow. And as you correctly mentioned, we don't really talk about their defense, but their defense has shored itself up a little bit over the second half of the season. They've been playing good ball. It's just that we forget because they've been able to rest their starters for so long, you know? So we kind of forget. I think they just have too many weapons. They have Devonta Smith. They have A.J. Brown. They have Saquon Barkley. And, Jalen Hurts can do a lot of things. And it just is, it's too much. It's too much for the Packers. The Packers are going to figure out a way to keep it closer, I think. But I got the Eagles flying high after this one.
Fly, Eagles, fly. something, victory. Anyway,
the last time I heard you sing that song was when the Jets beat the Eagles.
That's right.
yeah.
But it wasn't their version.
No.
I remember Cool McCain telling me, he's like, I didn't watch the episode. Like, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
Commanders, Buccaneers. That's the nightcap on Sunday, 8 p.m. start. It's NBC, both on NBC and Peacock. See, this is how you do things, NFL. You put them on either streaming or traditional, not just streaming, jerks. Yeah. And as your Uncle Al would say, I'm hard pressed $$ to think of why the NFL will put game $$ on $ streaming $ services $.
Yeah, I can already see a future where they've already done it, but now that's going to be the thing. You want Sunday Ticket, you need YouTube TV, but if you want these games, you need this, you need that. It's getting ridiculous.
To quote Mr. Crab from SpongeBob SquarePants, I like money. I can summarize it. Commanders Buccaneers Sunday 8 p.m. Eastern, again NBC Peacock. This is the game to watch.
Yeah.
This is the game to watch. Dustin, what's your thoughts about this game?
This is a toss-up game, and I'm really excited about it. I I think it's just because of our buddy D Willie and also my uncle Bill, who has been a
Yeah.
long time Commanders fan.
Yep.
I'm rooting for the Commanders in this one, but I've become a bit of a Baker Mayfield fan myself too. So it's it's just been a pleasure to watch Mike Evans play all these years. And these two teams seem very evenly matched. Dan Quinn, a defensive focused head coach. Todd Bowles, defensive focused head coach. Both know how to scheme a good defense. And then you got Baker Mayfield, who he has more than earned his contract extension that he got in Tampa Bay. He is well past the point of prove it deals. And at the age of, did we find out Baker's 29? I think he's 29.
Yeah, he turns 30 later this year.
At the age of 29, it is clear he has figured out the game. Sometimes it takes time. It takes time. And Browns fans, you could have had him. He would have been there. He still could have been there. But
you gambled on Deshaun Watson instead, and look what happened there.
Yeah. That was, man. If you want to keep up with some Deshaun Watson news, if you haven't heard, go over and join our Discord, because Ryan was on it, and it's just tough run of luck for the Browns and one Deshaun Watson there. But this game, I think I give the slight edge to the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. Shout out to you, Jaden Daniels, for helping me win my fantasy league. I did not win the league that I'm in with Ryan. Chemical Toilet fell, but Rock and
finished
Roll
fourth place though. You gotta hold your head up high.
Yeah, I did. But Rock and Roll McDonald's was able to ascend largely thanks to Jaden Daniels. Man, there's so many weapons on each side. These are the two teams that I feel are the most evenly matched. Like I said, they're mirror images of each other, but I give the Commanders just a slight edge in talent.
Spicy.
I love Terry McLaurin this year being able to just get behind the defense, make circus catches. Jaden Daniels can extend plays with the best of them, but he makes smart decisions largely for a rookie. He's not out there getting clobbered. I think he's recovered from the rib injury that kind of affected him when they were on that slide. I like their rushing attack with Brian Robinson Jr. and also the aforementioned Zacchaeus. And I think Austin Eckler is a great depth option. And let's not forget, they have Zach Ertz at tight end, who has kind of come on in the last couple of games. And I know the Bucs have Mike Evans, but Godwin's gone for the season. They do have the receiver on the other side who has proven himself, and the Bucs do have a great rushing attack in Bucky Irving and also Rachaad White. He's still on the team. He still runs sometimes, but I'm just feeling the Commanders for this one. I'm feeling the Commanders, but it is close. This is the entertaining game to watch.
Yeah, I mentioned on my segment with Gaz yesterday. Ding. Now available on all podcast platforms. I said this is the game that's going to be hardest to pick this weekend. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in this game. This is going to be the game of the weekend. I'm hoping it turns out that's the case. I'm hoping it doesn't turn out like a lot of these games don't turn out like the college football playoff that were just complete blowouts from the first couple of rounds.
Yeah, everything.
I want every game to be close. I want every game to be close. And this is the biggest. I think this is the biggest toss up. Like you said, this is the biggest toss up of the 6 games that are happening this weekend. And I don't have my full attention on this game for sure on Sunday night because Baker's figured it out. Jaden Daniels in his first season, there's some things he makes with rookie mistakes, but that's okay. You know, he'll be all right. He's got good personnel around him. He's got veterans around him to help him out. That's the one big thing is that they got Austin Eckler in the backfield. They got Terry McLaurin. They got Zach Ertz. They got guys to help him, which is probably one of the smartest things the Commanders front office did to aid his development. And then the defensive side of the ball, you got 2 defenses. And I looked at the injury report; they're all a mile long. We don't know who's playing what. when Mike Evans was on rest this week for practice, probably because of the wallet he had to carry around from that big fat $3 million bonus that he earned on Sunday. So this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun game. I can't wait to watch it on Sunday night, which means I'll be drinking a lot more coffee. It might be a 2 French press day in the McCarthy offices of McCarthy's on this McCarthy at least on Monday morning. All right, last game of the wild card weekend slot Monday night. Again, this is another thing I hate about this wild card weekend. Every week I got a Monday night game. Vikings Rams, which was moved from Los Angeles to Glendale because of the wildfires. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who in the Los Angeles area who was affected by the fires.
Yeah.
We're with you. We are with you. Rams, Vikings moved to Glendale, Arizona. This is Monday night, 8 p.m. I don't think the relocation really affects game plans for either of these teams. No. We don't have a full injury report for either right now because they usually don't put out the injury reports until the day before the game. So right now there's not a whole lot of names that are very noticeable on the Rams side. On the Vikings side, a couple of guys were limited practice Aaron Jones was limited practice on Thursday and Friday. Sam Darnold was full practice on Thursday and Friday. So they'll probably play in this game. The Rams are probably the most surprising team out of all the teams that went to playoffs. And I say the Vikings too, because I didn't know I thought the Vikings were going to have a tank season this year.
Oh yeah, no, we both thought they were going to be terrible. On one of our shows where Kevin was a guest, I think we all picked them as like one of the bottom 3 QB rooms in the entire league.
Yeah, shows how much we know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can't get a hold in this game because I wonder which Vikings team's going to come out on Monday night. I don't know how much. I don't know how much they're affected by the fact that they had a chance to win the division, get the first round bye, and fully heal up. Now they got to travel with their 14-3 record. They got to travel to Los Angeles. They got to travel to Glendale and play a Rams team that has been very good in the last 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of a coin toss game for me as well, a little bit. Looking at it, I give the edge to the Vikings, but unlike Dan Campbell, who said to Kevin O'Connell, "I'll see you in 2 weeks," and is kind of overlooking the Rams at his own peril.
I have something to say about that, but keep rolling.
All right. I will roll. I feel like, man, I'm picking Vikings. I'll just go out and I'll say it. I'm picking Vikings, but the Rams, because I will say the Rams finished with the same record as the Seattle Seahawks, but I have no shame in saying the Rams are a superior team to my Seattle Seahawks. They will give this Vikings team everything that they can handle. Matthew is always a gamer. Cooper Kupp has looked a little rusty in the past couple of weeks, but they have depth at receiver. They have Tutu Atwell was catching passes, no problem against the Seahawks last week, and they have Robinson out there. Marcus Robinson, I think. I can't remember everybody's. I'm having trouble with names this morning, which scares me. But the Rams, and I thought the Rams defense was going to be bad. That's why I picked them to be towards the bottom of the division. Boy, was I wrong. But the Rams are going to be able to give the Vikings everything that they can handle. But I do think ultimately the Vikings managed to pull this one out. I think Sam Darnold's Cinderella run does continue, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But because Kyron Williams, man, I'm almost convincing myself to pick the Rams here, but I'm going to go with my first instinct, Vikings.
Okay. I got to say to Rams fan who saw that clip of Dan Campbell saying to Kevin O'Connell, we'll see you in a couple weeks. they got so offended by that. It's like the most. I think I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to do an impromptu power ranking about the most sensitive fan base in the NFL. The Rams are up. The Rams fan is up there, and I love your Rams fan. I love your passion, but you've become so annoying since you won that Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Okay, take it down a notch. All right,
I'll co-sign.
You're okay. Thank you. If one coach says to another, "I'll see you in a couple weeks," that's just a way of saying good luck. I will die on this hill. All right, I will be that guy. I'll be that meme of the Norman Rockwell painting with the man standing up amongst the crowd and saying something. Yeah, climb up. All right, he's just saying good luck. Rams fan, you should not be offended. Okay, settle down. Just take a chill pill, drink some chamomile tea, do whatever, but chill out. Okay, he wasn't underplaying your team because for some reason you hate the Lions now. I can think of the reason why, because of the no call in the wild card last year. That's why you hate the Lions. Anywho,
and also the Lions did beat them in week 2, even though the Rams gave them everything they could handle.
Yep.
So.
Oh, the Lions still won. Sorry. But Rams fan, you got to calm down. But I'm still picking your team because, again, I can't figure out the line. I can't figure out the Vikings because, like I said, I don't know which team is going to show up. Is going to be the team that has been pretty darn good over the first 17 weeks of the season? Or is it going to be the team that fell on its face on Sunday night in front of a national audience in what was billed the greatest regular season game of all time in the history of ever? I got to figure that out. And again, and with the Rams, again, it's rest versus rust because they rested a large number of their starters last week on the offensive side of the ball. If they can get things going, if things aren't totally affecting them with everything that's going on in their home city, it's going to depend on how they come out too. So this game might be lower scoring than what we think it's going to be, but it could also be higher scoring. We don't really know. This is a game I'm picking the Rams in this one, but I might have to eat my words on Tuesday, depending on depending on which team comes out because we don't know which of these teams is going to show up.
These two teams. And shout out to I think it was the Sports Center account on Instagram. Ryan, I should have sent you this. I forgot. But as part of their advertising for the playoffs, they were taking half of each of the quarterbacks' face and mashing them together, and it created some horrors that will haunt my dreams. I got to see if I can find that and send it to you.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. But before we do that, we're gonna talk about some of the comments in the comment section. Kevin joining us for Credheads joining us saying, "R.I.P. Johnny Football. He's not dead. His career just died in the NFL."
I thought he was for half a second. I was like,
I'll have to bring out the breaking news element. I'm like, he's dead. It's like, no, it's just his NFL career.
Yeah.
Last I saw, he was in fan controlled football. That's the last time I saw
FCF. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Your Uncle Al saying the Browns Deshaun Watson deal makes the Giants Daniel Jones deal look like the Browns Deshaun Watson deal. Yikes. Anthony, another new viewer chiming in here. He's a Commanders fan with that logo. It says Washington is Lattimore versus Mike Evans. That's gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah, that's true. They hate each other. They really don't like each other from when Lattimore was on the Saints and obviously Evans still on the Bucks. They do not like each other. It will be a good one.
No, and he said Kevin says Tampa's good. Washington about to be embarrassed. Ooh, hot take.
Man.
Just like the Steelers are about to be blown out. Oh man. And Kevin's a Steelers fan from what I know. Man. It says he also says about the Vikings Rams game. It depends on which staff, if the staff shows up. And he also says, no, I know, but that was Johnny Hockey. Yeah, Johnny Goudreau passing away. By the way, the guy. Well, actually, he was. I can't say it because of monetization purposes, but yes, he lost. He and his brother both lost their lives in a tragic accident in New Jersey back in September or August. And the guy who committed those crimes pled not guilty. It's like all the evidence is there.
Yeah.
It's like we know you drove the car. We know where you came from. We have witnesses that said you left the scene, you left the bar.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Guy's probably going to be one of those guys that defends himself too. He's going to act as his own attorney.
Yeah, and he was. I also remember. It was August because there was a clip of his arraignment on Zoom. He was worried that he wasn't going to be out of jail for a Labor Day weekend. And the judge is like, I don't care. It's just the weekend. You're going to be stuck in here. Get a lawyer. Get your lawyer. He's like, what? Like, yep. Sorry, dude. You're in jail. No party hardy for you. All right, we're going to get out of here. To end the show on a more higher, on a more upbeat note. But we're gonna get out of here. Enjoy Wildcard Weekend, folks. But don't forget, I'll remind you about our social media. Follow us on social media: Facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, Sketches, TikTok @NoCardsREQ, and YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and don't forget to get notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when new videos are up, when show announcements are up, and you just keep following us. We appreciate you on the ride. We appreciate your patience with this transition from our YouTube channel over to the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. We appreciate you standing by, and we're back on Facebook and we're back on Twitter. And we got all that straightened out, so now you can watch on either of those platforms too. Also, rate and review, comment, whether you're watching live. We appreciate everyone who's stopped by and dropped a comment while we were live. Any comments that come in while on the replay, we appreciate you joining on the replay as well. On the podcast side, rate and review. On the Spotify, you can comment on every episode and give us a 5-star rating. Leave a review if you can. That way you know you're paying attention to this podcast. And again, tell a friend. Tell a friend about this show.
Yeah.
Tell them about the show, how you found it, where you can find it. Have them listen. You'll enjoy yourselves. Let's just enjoy yourselves. And we appreciate everyone who has downloaded this year. Again, we're on a mission to get to 3,000 downloads for 2025. We reached 2,500 last year. We're on our way. We're on our way to 3,000. Hopefully, we can creep up a little bit more. But again, best way to talk about the show, let people know about the show, tell a friend, and just let them know that the quality sports podcast is out there like this one. All right, we're going to be back on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the Belly Up YouTube channel. We'll also be on our Facebook page and our Twitter page, 6:30 p.m. In the meantime, thank you for tuning into No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Enjoy the football. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Good morning, everybody.
There it is.